Alright, Pokeard, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Sure?
Alright.
I guess.
Alright, now let's get things started. Hey everyone, this is Mikoy welcoming you back to another episode of TLT Podcast. I am joined by...
OKR 2004, who is, on oath for some reason?
Yes, you are.
Under oath.
You are under oath. You are under oath. Last time we covered...
Why exactly?
Because it is relevant. Alright, last time we covered TLT Round 3 recap and Round 4 predicts. This time we're going to cover Round 4 recap. So Round 4, we all eliminated a couple of people. And we've also made sure that people have progressed through the loser's bracket and the winner's bracket and all of that. Again, this is double elimination. Why am I repeating myself? You should already know this. This is a tournament arc, after all. So here we go. Let's now proceed to covering all the 8 games that had happened last week. Shall we?
Yes.
First off, we have the winner's bracket. Wow, the first game that we're going to cover is actually the last series played, which is Tempo de Anguria versus Terracotta, which faced almost an act call due to some unfortunate situations that happened. But they actually played, and they got to play, and the game has went in this fashion. So, let's start off with game 1, which was Ubers.
Actually, I think this is, well, if you know better, this is something people should be thinking could go either way.
Tempo
is good at Ubers, Mikoy.
Well, on paper, it looked like Terra looked like the stronger, but Tempo has been proven himself to be quite the competent player in Ubers, and this is what actually happened in this Ubers game. So, starting off in Ubers, we had Deoxys taunting the Ribombee to get itself away from using webs all the time. But, however, Tempo kind of had some unluck happening on his side because he missed Thunder Wave and Psycho Boost in succession. So Ribombee got a free kill off of Moonblast. And then...
True, even though I don't think the Thunder Wave one mattered. Really only the Psycho Boost one.
The Psycho Boost one did definitely matter. Then Webs was set and paralyzed the King Gambit with Stun Spore before it died. Terra then Swords Dances Lando, but lost to Sucker Punch. Later, Swords Dancing itself and beating Arceus Flying with Kowtow Cleave before losing to Koraidon. Then, turn 21 came, which saw Koraidon tried Swords Dancing himself on turn 21. However, Terra Fairy Eternatus stayed on the field and killed it with Dynamax Cannon, leaving Zacian open to kill it in return, only to die to a crit Oko Flare Blitz from the opposing Koraidon.
What do you mean, crit?
Turn 23. It did not matter. 100% I fully believe that it did not matter. But still, it must be noted.
Oh yeah, that didn't matter.
Yeah, that didn't
matter. We're talking full attack Koraidon and Sun here.
Yes.
You think that mattered?
Of course it didn't, but it must be noted. Anyway.
Well, you gotta note it and clarify it didn't matter.
It did not matter. I already said it didn't matter. Anyway.
Yeah, but you gotta, say it right off the bat. And not make it sound like it killed because it crit.
Okay,
you said
fine.
Crit Oko, so that made it sound like it killed because it crit.
Okay, fine. I'm just speaking to the layman out there who might not have understood. Anyway, here's the crit that actually mattered. Turn 27, where the Lunala was trying to stall out the Zacian using the Moonlight and the Calm Mind, in fact. But on turn 27, Zacian crit with the Behemoth Blade, absolutely putting Lunala not in range. Well, actually, if it does Moonlight the next turn, then it would not be in full health, thus Shadow Shield wouldn't be in full effect. But we argued in the chat afterward that Lunala should have just attacked instead of going for the Moonlight spam.
No, I see why Terra actually didn't outright attack because at +1, Moongeist Beam only did 59, I noticed.
It did.
So, yeah, it seems that CalcDex, which was on the side of my screen during the game, was wrong about the rules it presented, meaning Terra did, in fact, need to set up a Calm Mind to actually 2-hit KO, because if it did 59 with +1, that's like 1.5 the amount of damage it would have done normally, so it probably only did around 40 or so without a boost.
Yes. It would not have done as... It would be a 3-hit KO. It would have been a safe 3-hit KO to Zacian if that was the case.
Yeah, but he needs a 2-hit KO.
Yeah, he does need a 2-hit KO, which he did not get, unfortunately, and Tempo ended up picking the win.
Terra did also choke a little by just letting Koraidon die like that.
Yeah, I wasn't too big a fan of
him.
The crit sucked.
And he likely won with no crit.
I wasn't too big of a fan of him just setting up the Sword Stance immediately against the Eternatus, but yeah. Everything else, the Lunala endgame, really, like... Yeah, there were things that could have been made possible if given the right chances. Anyway, NU was next. This one was a pretty long game. Both players setting up rocks and spikes early on, and then after missing a gunk shot early on, Overquill still managed to net the first kill against Gastrodon, with Crunch dying to Mean Xiao shortly after. And then Tersteel Sylveon came in against Muck and tried to Wish Protect to get some health back. Braviary Hisui also managed to beat Bronzong. So Terra was trying to gain some leverage over the course of this game. However, I think it was very clear that Tempo still had the advantage because of his team choices and the fact that he had a lot more mons to preserve by the end of the game. Mian Xiao got to beat Bronzong. Ditto got to beat Muck. Lose to Muck, actually, via hazards and knockoff. And Braviary losing to Mian Xiao's U-turn, and Incineroar getting to finish off Sylveon. Any other thoughts of this NU game?
I know Terra kept saying that his team isn't weak to hazards, but... Well, I think that's only the case when there isn't a Sableye on the other side.
Yeah.
I understand what he means, but I was saying while watching the game live, I was saying that his team looks good into tempos, especially like Iron Defense Bronzong looks really good into tempos if there wasn't a Sableye there.
Sableye was just there to be the neutralizer to things like Bronzong.
Yeah, Sableye was really disruptive into Terra's team.
Yeah,
that plus Hazard Stack.
Hazard Stack also was a brutal, in which case for Terra, which made him struggle by the end, and that caused Tempo to just win the game by that point. He did have the advantage late game.
I think he had the advantage all game, not just late game.
Okay, so because the Sableye, it's because of the Sableye. He had a better team choice, and yeah, it was pretty evident that Tempo was going to win that one. All right, next up, we have the first game. We're skipping a lot here. Last game series was played, and now we're covering the first series that was played. Papillon versus TNK. So, doubles was a mugging.
Truly.
Doubles was a mugging. Because, look at this. Wesh started off with the Espatra, immediately sending it out and absolutely boosting up its stats, tanking most of TNK's hits to survive, and then baton pass to Archaludon, who started sweeping and using stamina a lot to boost its defense, and Pap just utilized it better. TNK just spent turns switching into different mons, while Pap just body pressed them all to death. Like, you could try switching into Ninetales against the Politoed's Drizzle. You could try switching in things like Landorus or Articuno, but they all died to body press regardless.
Or the other attacks it had, which it used.
Or Electroshot or Dragon Pulse. But, yeah, Archaludon was just a menace this game. Archaludon was TNK's biggest worry, and it ended up sweeping his team.
I feel like what you said is accurate, but also kind of discredits that Wesh just played this really well.
Oh, he did. I'm not taking credit away from Pap. He played this absolutely well. It was clear that who was the better doubles player from here.
Yeah, like, he made a lot of good reads.
Absolutely. Especially, like, for example, here, like, going into Intimidate against the Ogre Pawn was pretty nice. And then, towards the end, it was just win after win after win. Body press ultimately kills. Yeah. I think, overall, Pap just played the stronger game in doubles. What more can you really say?
Yeah, unfortunately, TNK got shistered.
Next up was UU, which TNK started off setting screens with webs with Ribombi, allowing Poltegeist to shell smash and beat low kicks after 2 turns before losing to Scissor's Bullet Punch, which was disabled by Clear Body. And then Manaphy started setting up Tail Glow, and after a dodge of Bleak Windstorm, beat Tornadus with a Skull Burn, which was very evident, forcing Pap to Terra Water his Excadrill and remove webs before being burned in the process and just outright dying to it. But it was beneficial for Pap late game because Greninja was able to reverse sweep the rest with Battle Bond and beat through Terrasteel Scizor, finishing out for Bombi and winning Wesh the game. Short but sweet. Any other thoughts? Oh yeah, you did died to the Weavile, but the Weavile died to the Greninja, but it was Wesh still won.
Like, I'm trying to think if there was anything TNK could have done to not get reverse sweeps like that, since the Greninja was on Life Orb timer, but I don't know, maybe not. I guess something he could have maybe done is preserve the Arcanine.
You think?
Instead of letting it die to the
Scizor.
The Scizor could have just sacked the Rabombi instead?
Maybe.
Unless he was thinking he'd use that for screens later, but, well, that never happened.
That never happened, and, he ended up, Greninja ended up, winning Pap the game pretty handily. He was not worried after, Excadrill did its job, and then, boom, just allowed Greninja to just be the formidable win con that it is.
I think you mean Excadrill and Scizor, because it it was a combined effort of those two that was able to get Manaphy into the range of Dark Pulse.
That's true. Scizor also helped. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, if Dark Pulse didn't kill, Pap didn't win.
Oh, that's true. Manaphy would just swept through Greninja.
Yes.
Because it was a +6.
It just killed Greninja, and Greninja obviously wouldn't have gotten the boosts. Yeah. It would just die.
A good job for Pap. Moving on to the further beyond into the winner's bracket, just proving why he is the odds-on favorite to win. I am not totally jinxing.
Also, good on him for bringing back a pretty unfavorable game at the time, despite getting unlucky for a lot of it.
Mm-hmm. It was good.
And for also making it 0-0.
It was. Yes. If you were playing an old gen, it would definitely be a draw, but this is new stuff.
Would it be?
Anyway, next up, we have Rafna versus Polo Ariosto, one of the few 3-game series that we've had. It's also one of the late ones, too.
Actually,
do it.
Yeah, it was one of 2 3-game series this week.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna double check and realize. Oh no! Most of the games went to 2. This was one of the games that went to 3, and we're showing you right
Only
now.
One other set went to 3. Yeah.
And we're showing you all right now. First off, in Ubers, where it was a really good game. It was a very evenly paced game between both players here.
In which you mean they spent the first 20 turns doing absolutely nothing.
And we say this with absolute confidence, it was a really good game. Yes. The Grimstars did absolutely jack crap in this game. This one. Trying to set up screens and trying to taunt the other to no avail. Trying to parting shot the other to no avail. And then before...
This went on for 20 turns straight.
Yes, it was nonstop. And then eventually both of them finally switched it out and did some damage after a while.
That's when the game actually started.
Well, Calyrex Ice then had an even battle with Necrozma. Terra firing to avoid its Sunsteel Strike attempts and reversing its Trick Room, which was a good little sequence that I liked.
It wasn't intentionally trying to reverse the Necrozma's Trick Room. The Necrozma was reversing its Trick Room.
But it was just funny. It was just funny playing out. It's like, oh, okay.
It was preventing the Calyrex from getting it up on its side by using it itself.
I'm like, okay. He was most likely he was trying to be like, oh, he's got a Mewtwo, he's got a Koraidon, he's got an Arceus. He was like, oh, that was my thinking. He was like, oh, I got these. He's got these fast mons. I'm a Trick Room myself. And yeah. Now it makes sense.
You would not Trick Room on an opposing Calyrex
if it's on the field.
Boosted.
Yes, if it's on the field, yes. You would not do that, but it was just funny seeing that. Anyway,
he was trying to prevent that.
But yes, it did manage to tank the Photon Geyser from the Necrozma in order to kill it with Glacial Lance. And then, after Grimmsnarl died, Orthworm then killed Calyrex Ice in return, before Rafna eventually set up screens again and allowed Arceus Ground to set up Dragon Dance twice and sweep the rest of Polo's team, utilizing both Earthquake and Stone Edge to do it.
Yep, specifically Stone Edge to catch a switch in of Earthworm, which was a great read there.
Yes. You definitely stopped Earth Eater from absolutely activating. Peter did its job very well. So that was a good game from both sides. LC, where Polo brought Sun, Semi-Sun, actually. Where
A
Riolu...
little more than Semi-Sun, actually, since he has 2 Sunsetters.
Yeah, against Drafna's pretty basic LC team here. Riolu got to set up a Sunny Day before final gambiting the Marini, allowing Bulbasaur to come in and just set up growth, managing to crit and kill Toad School with Giga Drain, netting Polo the advantage there. Then Diglett set up Sunny Day itself and tanked Marini Surf while it's at it. And then it got to outpace...
Decoy, I would just like to say the crit on Toad School didn't matter because
Really?
like that was 2-hit K. Yeah,
it was 2-hit KO'd anyway.
It didn't die from the crit. What are you talking about?
Really? Oh no!
It did 90 and then died.
I said crit and kill, not crit kill.
Yeah, but I'm saying the crit did not matter because that was a 2-hit KO anyway.
Alright, fair enough. I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense. It was well enough for you to sack it anyway.
Like, if that was doing 90 with a crit, that was doing 60 without a crit. That did not matter.
Alright, I mean, I believe it. I believe it 100%. Toad Scroll ain't doing crap against a sun-sweeping Bulbasaur. Diglett then set up the Sunny Day to tank, and then tanked Marini Surf while it's at it, and then got to outpace Vullaby's Endure by going for Memento on turn 12, allowing Torchic to then come in and just utterly wreck, and became MVP, Terra Fairying against the Diglett switch-in before absolutely beating it with Terra Blast.
It's really sad to me how Rafna could have utilized Endure Volaby to help deal with Sun, but never got to.
He never got to do it because then towards the end, Torchic was just there to just absolutely wreck, fire blasting the Tinkatank as he saw, and then Terra blasting literally everything else.
But then again, I guess the 2 Sun abusers were special attackers, so I guess it wouldn't have mattered to poor Volaby.
Well, Vullaby didn't do anything. Didn't do anything notable, couldn't do anything notable, and ultimately Polo won the game.
Yeah, Terra Fairy Torchic Wreck Shop.
Mm-hmm. Good Terra to use on Torchic. And then RU came next, where...
I wouldn't be surprised if Terra Fairy Torchic is very specifically for, like, Volaby or Mienfoo, yeah.
Or Terra Dragon Marini.
Those are things that... Yeah, Terra Dragon Marini too, actually. Because, like, those are things that can take its hits.
Mm-hmm.
But now they can't.
They cannot. Then RU was next, where it was just HO on HO action. Oh boy.
Well, that's RU. That's the state of RU right now.
Hyper offensive out the boys between these two. Polo's Gyarados beat Infernape early on with a Terra Blast and Earthquake combo, wildly predicting the Sash Infernape there. And Jirachi encored the Necrozma into only doing Dragon Dance, and even used a physical Zoroark Hisui set to break Mimikyu's disguise. However, made a mistake on turn 12 by clicking Poltergeist again, and then Mimikyu killed it with Play Rough.
Yeah.
Whoops. It was a big whoops moment.
Common mistake. Literally the second time it happened this week.
Red Guard was already held up by that point. Gligar then took out Mimikyu's and then Toxic Necrozma, allowing it to stall it out by continuously switching in and out with it before Jirachi no. He got to switch it out in and out with it and Jirachi in order for Necrozma to just die by a poison. Also, Brick Break Necrozma.
Yeah. Well, I guess it makes sense. Bisharp's fairly common.
Bisharp is fairly common. Also, is there a lot of screen user in RU nowadays?
Oh yeah, that too. Break screens.
Yeah. Then the final few turns, we saw the Terraflying Gyarados beating Yanmega and resting with Chesto Berry, but the crucial flinch by Revavroom's Iron Head allowed it to kill it safely, and Zapdos by the end for Rafna to win.
But I don't think that flinch mattered at all.
You really? You don't think it did? Oh,
Waterfall didn't kill.
But Gyarados had Earthquake, I think. Yeah, it had Earthquake. Oh wait, it's Balloon! Duh! I can't read today. Okay, Waterfall. Okay, he would have had to get a Waterfall, probably a flinch, I guess. Oh no.
Yeah, you would need like a Waterfall critter flinch to win.
Oh no, wait, because Revavroom's still faster. Never mind. It was still faster after one shift gear boost.
Oh yeah. Right, then a crit.
A crit would have made more sense. And then it would have slayed the Bisharp. Ultimately, Polo would have won, but now Rafna won.
Yes, and cleanly, because that flinch didn't matter.
Yeah. Alright, next up. Actually, the last matchup in the winner's bracket, where we saw Brain Damage Haver beat Excelsior. Ooh, in 2 no less. So, this LC game actually was pretty controversial, I guess you would say the least. I saw a lot of discussion with this one amongst the chat when the game actually took place. And there were some words to be had. So,
yes, there were some words.
There were some words to be had. Axel's Diglett tried to sub up early, missing a Rock Blast first before taking advantage of Vullaby being Terra Electric and losing to Earthquake, giving him an advantage.
What seemed like an early advantage, yes.
Brain's Torchic then subbed up using Speed Boost to its advantage and then kept subbing until Diglett died to Life Orb, but missed.
Yeah, see, that could have been avoided if Excelsior used Rock Blast at any point.
Yeah, he kept trying to do Earthquake. I questioned that. He had Rock Blast in his arsenal.
I know you have a bad experience. You had a bad experience with Rock Blast just earlier this round.
Actually, this game.
But it was more ideal. Although maybe he just didn't care if his Diglett died if it meant Torchic wouldn't be behind the sub.
He was trying to get like more of the sub out of Torchic.
Yeah, maybe he cared more about Torchic just not getting the sub up rather than it being alive or not.
Okay. But it did.
Although I do still think that if he Rock Blast when it was starting to get low and, hit enough times for it to just die, or well, if it was low enough, 2 times would have been enough.
Well, he did.
Yeah, like if he did that, he would have been a little further ahead in the game.
Yeah, well,
than he already was at the time.
Well, he did get the Torchic kill by Torchic just missing the Fire Blast and Meanfu being the one to take care of it. Then Meanfu then Sword Stance, then Brain's Meanfu actually Sword Stance, beating Axel's Meanfu after a hard switch in, and from Fungus to Lullaby, to clarify, from Fungus to Lullaby. Then Chin Chao took care of Tinkatink and Fungus with Scald and Ice Beam, respectively, in reverse order, as I put it. And Axel then had Shelter left, but a burn cost. Turn 32. The burn cost him, as it forced him to Shell Smash again, which Chin Chao ultimately killed it via Thunderbolt and won Axel the game.
Chin Chao didn't have any special attack investment from what he told me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's see. Oh, well, okay, well, that actually changes things. I'm a little confused now, because, let's see, what did Axel tell me? Axel. Who's gonna tell him he did not only have Volt Switch and that you were finished off by a Thunderbolt?
Oh, well, I guess, I don't know. Who's gonna tell him?
And, yeah, from what I'm looking at, while it's true that Volt Switch almost never killed, with zero special attack investment from a Chin Chao, what's clear to me is that Thunderbolt always killed.
Well, yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, now it's an interesting turn to me. Did he, expect Axel with Terra?
Maybe, I don't know. Into what exactly?
And did Axel expect he would Volt Switch?
I don't know. That's a weird final turn to discuss.
Was probably thinking he would Terra and thought that he had to burn him in order to stop the win.
Okay.
When it turns out he didn't even Terra and Thunderbolt killed.
Yeah. Well, Thunderbolt almost always kills. So, as you said, Thunderbolt always kills. So that wouldn't have mattered. Anyway, that was a little controversial game that happened. Next up is doubles, where Brain started off with King Gambit tanking Landorus' stomping tantrums decently, and Incineroar burning Regidrago with Flare Blitz. Sinistra then used Rage Powder to redirect attacks, allowing King Gambit to kill Regidrago with Kowtow Cleave and Landorus with Sucker Punch before Farigiraf Terra Fighting to beat it with Low Kick. And then the final turns, we saw Goldango try to make it rain with the rest of Brain's team, killing Terragrass Diancie in the process, but Brain double targeting the Rillaboom at the end, and Raging Bolt ended up thunderclapping to give Brain the win. Any other thoughts?
Saw the team preview of this game, I thought, oh, Brain just used Trick Room and won with that. No, he never even used Trick Room.
Guess he didn't need to.
Yeah, honestly, Axel played fairly well, all things considered, even in doubles. He just didn't make the right reads to get ahead.
It was very clear that Brain I was gonna say who.
Also, that was Specs Golden Go, so unfortunately, nothing could really be done about. Well, he would have had to have switched it out at some point in order for it to do anything.
Yeah, but after Fergraf died, he had no more chances to to switch it out, and in the end, Brain just had to double target the Rillaboom, and then ended up making sure Goldango ends up being locked to only make it rain, and while Raging Bolt just tanks those hits and wins with the Thunderclap. Yeah, good win for Brain, beating one of the favorites in Excelsior, at least in our hearts. Now let's move on now to the losers bracket. First off, we had Batty beating Penter in 2. Then that includes doubles. What? Crazy, right?
On paper, you think, especially with how the game was going at first.
Yeah.
I think Batty was down like 6-3 at one point during doubles.
Penter started off real aggressive here. Terrifier Ogerpon was doing huge wood damage, wood hammer damage, and dragon energy Regidrago to beat Rillaboom and Tornadus, while Draco Meteor Oko the Ogerpon very nicely. So yes, Batty was down significantly via 6-3. Before the end, we saw Batty turn around this game using the Goldango as the MVP. Grassy Seed and Nasty Plot boosting up its stats and sweeping through Penter's team, with Terra Fairy Baxcalibur X acting as support for the final turns, beating Regidrago with Glaive Rush and Ice Shard hitting through Psychic Terrain to kill Tornadus, finishing off Iron Hands for the victory for Batty.
What a friend of mine says about Penter proves true once more.
What?
That he folds to setup. In this case, the Goldango. Even if that Goldango wasn't terribly set up by the time the end game rolled around, because unfortunately, two of Penter's Mons that got hit by a Make It Rain earlier, they both lived on one, funnily.
Yes. So Penter had every right to try to win this doubles game. Unfortunately, Goldango was just too strong and beat through Penter's team.
But Baxcalibur clutched it.
It did. Alright, next up was PU, where Penter sets up rocks early on, while Batty's Decidueye Hisui was chipping through Golurk with Brave Bird, killing it later with his own Poltergeist, and Arcanine defeating Articuno Galar for the advantage. Golurk then beat Tatsugiri.
Yeah, that Flare Blitz did a lot.
It did a lot. It did a hell of a lot. Golurk then beat Tatsugiri, and then chipped the Terra-fighting Scyther heavily with Poltergeist.
Yeah, on that note, why did he Terra fighting there?
I don't know, actually. That might be one of the more not good Terras.
Was the Golurk running a rock move? I don't know, just, why use Scyther to deal with it even? I mean, right there, you've got a Frostmoth.
Yes, that would have been the better Terramon.
Outspeeds the Golurk, you know?
Yeah, that would have been the better Terramon,
on the other side switches into it safely. Instead, you send in the Frostmoth on a hard switch,
Heart switch
and then you let it die to the Zoroark.
Yeah, the Zoroark's
Like, come
flamethrower.
on! You had a goddamn Frostmoth. If you saved the Terra for that and like had it
Quiver
Quiver
Dance
Dance at any point, you just simply won.
Yes, Fenter would have won if he chose to Terra the right Mon, Frostmoth. Instead, he wasted his Terra on Scyther, and then unfortunately...
Like, nah, Scyther's not your win con, bruh. There's a whole ass Toxtricity in the back.
Yeah, which did shift gear and, beat down tried to beat down the Golurk, but unfortunately Overdrive couldn't do it. And then turn 20, it just used Terra Blast.
No, I meant Baddies Toxtricity.
Oh, never. Oh, yeah, you're right. But
that was my reasoning as for why Penter's Scyther wasn't gonna clean, because there's a whole ass healthy Toxtricity in the back.
Also, turn 20, funny moment, Toxtricity tried to use Terra Blast against the opposing Golurk, which, okay, perfectly right for the sacking, but, like, you're gonna really leave it up to your low health Scyther? Yeah, Toxtricity then beat the Scyther, and unsurprisingly, Batty has won by this point. Yeah. I didn't like how Penter played this PU game.
Oh, did he actively express how he didn't like it?
No, I didn't like how Penter played.
Oh, I thought you just said Batty didn't like it.
No. It's really weird to say Batty without the E part of Batty's name, because it just sounds like it just sounds like we're referring to him when really no. Alright. Anyway, next up we had Bokoa versus Blood Ace, which was already covered, actually, in last week's video. We actually did posted our live reactions to that. If you want to like to check out last video, you'll learn there. Next up, we have Fragments versus SV Valor. I feel awful.
So like, are we going to link in the description the last video so they can check out our reaction?
I will.
And are you also going to include a timestamp of when our reactions to that start?
Okay, I probably should. I haven't been...
Yeah.
I probably should.
You should.
Alright, I probably should. It was during the recap portion. It's fine. Alright, next up is Fragments versus SV Valor. I feel awful for Fragments in this one.
This was depressing to watch.
This was impressively depressing to watch. Just why? Just why the things that happen and just the things that made Valor absolutely win this game proved detrimental. Alright, first off, we have doubles, where Valor's matchup proved better, like using Indeedee.
Yeah, this matchup was doomed on sight for Fragments, I'm afraid.
It was doomed from the start, because Indeedee used the heavy Trick Room support and Follow Me, but then Hatren was just able to clean with Life Orb and Expanding Force and Dazzling Gleam under Psychic Terrain, and just utterly swept Fragments' team, finishing off combining with Ursaluna's Headlong Rush to the win. Nothing much else to say.
Like, Fragments didn't do anything wrong. Like, the right thing to do is to attack the Indeedee turn 1, double target it, but it was just not enough firepower to kill.
And got to set up the Trick Room anyway to allow Hatren to just utterly wreck shop. And then, oh boy, are you? So, Mew first paralyzed the Cleavor, who O-coded in return with Exazor, and even quick attack Custap Berry to kill the Volcanion on turn 3. So Custap Berry activated for Volcanion, but Mr. Cleavor here had quick attack. Priority beats Custap Berry every time.
Did you know that, Mikoi?
Actually, I kind of do, actually.
Well, I knew that.
I
So
knew.
I wasn't... So I thought when everyone was flipping out over that, I thought...
That's not
I
surprising.
thought they were just flipping out over the fact that he had a, quick attack.
Priority beats speed.
And man...
It was just really funny. It was just really funny seeing everyone's reactions.
I've seen the interaction before, so I knew that priority beats it, but man, that's
it's
so
just really
unfortunate.
Fun. Yeah. Bisharp then proved MVP of this game, Swords Dancing against Mimikyu's Play Rough in order to beat it, and then Terra Flying against Close Combat to beat it with Iron Head before losing to Gyarados' Waterfall. And then the final turns saw Valor's Mimikyu's Play Rough actually managing to get a crit kill. No, not a crit kill, but a crit on the Gyarados before the Shadow Sneak happened to kill it and win Valor the game.
I can't even... I can't believe that Fragments actually got in a position where he got to set up this Gyarados to +4 on speed and attack, and it remained at full health.
Mm-hmm. He was ready for the reverse sweep. And
Esveler really...
Fucked him over.
Esveler really sucker punched every time till they didn't have any sucker punches.
He lost. Left. Yeah, what the frick? He just kept losing the mind. He ran out of PP, so that he couldn't sucker punch, and that allowed Fragment to just utterly blast the Bisharp. And then he still got rewarded though. He still got rewarded because of that crit.
Crit Play Rough. Which put it into Shadow Sneak range.
Yeah, he got rewarded off of that. So yeah, I guess GG.
Yeah, Fragments won if not for that crit Play Rough.
It would have been a game 3, yes.
Although he didn't win if Shadow Sneak crit.
Of course yeah. So that was really, really unfortunate. It's saddening to see one of the actual favorites go out in this manner. That's Mons for you. And finally, we have the Let's Rumble, Shall We? Beating the Wildfire. Next, so sorry. First game, PU. It was pretty evident that Let's Rumble, Shall We? Was ignobly the better player. Yes, I had to use another fancy word. I am an adult. So, he started off well.
You don't need to use fancy words to be an adult. Half the adults in the U.S. read at the 6th grade level.
Wow, so sick burn in our own country. Alright,
I wish it was a burn. It's true, unfortunately.
Well, sick burn, meaning the burn on the Meloetta at the start of this game, but Hellray started off well, dispatching the Gastrodon after the Hitmontop's close combat attempts outplayed it, and Quillfish tanking the Skuntank's explosion, and Meloetta killing the Weezing with Hyper Voice. Rotomo then had a hard time killing Mudsdale, eventually doing it in turn 27, and towards the end, Terra Dragoning Rotom against Hellray, who tricked it using Zoroark's Scarf to only doing Volt Switch, and then Terra Grounding Florges to hit Moonblast and kill it, winning Hellray that game. Any other thoughts?
I only question why Wildfire sent in Palma and didn't just close combat the Meloetta, and instead used instead used Mach Punch. I'm talking turn 21.
I have no idea.
Why the hell did he Mach Punch? Literally nothing takes close combat well.
Yeah.
Not even Florges, totally.
I guess Florges is physically frail, but yeah, I guess close combat would have been the more outstanding play.
You two-hit KO'd the Mudsdale if you use close combat.
It's also faster,
you would have killed it.
Yeah, it's also faster, and you could have just utilized your palm mod in any other way, in a good way, I guess.
Yeah, you naturally outspeed the Meloetta, so there's no need to Mach Punch.
Mm-hmm. And then we saw doubles. There's a lot of doubles games played. Holy crap. Like, round 4 was just mostly doubles. Farigiraf and Grimmsnarl set up both the screens and the trick room, allowing Amoonguss and Iron Hands to come in safely and did some damage, with the latter Swords Dancing and OHKOing Landorus with Ice Punch, while chipping heavily some of Wildfire's team, whilst tanking Earth Power from Glamora. Granted, it was under light screens, but it still managed to take a lot of Earth Powers from Glamora. Seriously, this thing kept Earth powering a lot. And then, after Iron Hands got killed by the Wood Hammer from Rillaboom, who subsequently died to it, Wildfire tried to come back using the Sunny Day Tornadus and the Chi-Yu, killing Farigiraf and Amoonguss, but Grimmsnarl set up the Trick Room, and Diance's Diamond Storm allowed to finish both off, winning Hellray that game. Any other thoughts?
Wildfire said that they felt really helpless during the DOU game, which I cannot blame them for.
I cannot blame him for that. Like, Hellray kept getting in a good position while Wildfire tried to just attack, which...
Yeah, unfortunately, let's just say Wildfire's inexperience was showing for how they played doubles.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. Like, it was clear that they were trying, but it was just too hard.
Like, all the fake outing onto a side that had a priority blocker.
Hello, Armor Tail.
And, well, it didn't really seem like, over the course of the game, it didn't really seem like he had a plan.
Yeah, I guess he did.
I think he had a shot if, he got Goldengo and Chi-Yu on the field at the same time. That was a nasty plot Goldengo, and obviously the other one's a Chi-Yu.
Mm-hmm. I guess, yeah. They would have to contend with Diancie, though, in a relatively late game situation. Because Hellray kept it.
Who the hell cares about Diancie if it's double weak to steel, and if it tears to like something like grass, now it's weak to fire.
that would be extremely. That would still put Wildfire in an extremely advantageous position, but
the only thing Wildfire had to worry about if he were to get that ideal position, I think, would be Iron Hands. And screens.
And screens, too, yeah. Or worked into his favor. But ultimately, it was Hellray who took the win, not Wildfire, knocking him out of TLT. And those were the round 4 matchups. Who won predicts? PokeArt.
No one won. This week was a disaster.
Unknown 2-1, woman.
The pick won!
Ah, we lost to the red bot.
The pick freaking won!
By 1 point, I think.
Well, actually, come to think of it, I do need to do the... No, actually, no, I don't. Because,
you just count.
Because I'm...
5 out of 8.
4 apiece.
Yeah, we tied and then we lost to the bot. Thanks. Okay. Alright, so that takes care of round 4. Let's now move on to round 5, where we would have predicted 4 games, but, this week was the year of no Johns, apparently. The week of no Johns, apparently, because 3 out of 4 games at the time of this recording, 3 out of 4 games have already been played. Which means we only gotta really discuss 1.
Yeah, but we can at least say what we can say what we were probably gonna predict for the other 3, right?
Yeah, we can. But I was gonna go into like, well, maybe it could be a betting match just to add a little bit of suspense, but no, apparently no. They just decided. They just decided. You. Anyway, round 5 matchups. We did the thing. It was already updated by the time we get the thread. So we can't even laugh at the host for not updating, so we get to predict this outright. No. Whatever. It's fine. So round 5 matchups, losers. Batty versus Terra Note... Terra Notes kinda. Taking Notes kinda. Yes. Batty won. Would we have gone for Batty?
Yeah.
Would we have gone for
Yeah,
Batty,
definitely.
though? Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Batty
100%.
is supremely the better player. He showed it last week, and he showed last week that he could potentially tear through the losers bracket without any problems at all. So I am fully confident in Batty moving forward. Next up was Terracotta versus Bacoa, which also got played. Would we have gone for Terracotta if this was undecided?
Yeah, 100% every single time.
Yes.
In fact, it baffles me that people the two predicts on the thread actually favored Bocoa.
Over Terracotta? Really?
Yeah, I need you to look at the round 5 thread.
No, one was undecided, but the other definitely went for Bacoa.
Well, okay, true, but like the fact it's undecided is also
wrong.
Honestly just as bad.
Terracotta was definitely the better player going into this, and I'm glad he won.
Come on! Did you watch last week versus Blood Ace and actually think Bacoa was just as good as Terracotta from that?
Yeah, don't trust last week to think, oh, maybe Bacoa has a shot against Terracotta. No! Wrong! Terracotta.
Did Blood Ace get hacked every single game in some form?
Yeah, like wrong. Terracotta was always going to win. He was always the better player. Just going into this, like, Terracotta all the way.
Terracotta beat Bacoa on 2 nights of no sleep and playing mid.
Yes. Playing
Guys, it was never close.
Yeah, well, we're going to discuss.
The games were close. The games themselves were close, but that was Terracotta on 2 nights of no sleep, playing not his best.
We're going to discuss these games at length next week, but as for this week, yeah, just Terracotta all the way. Excelsior versus SV Valor, which, yeah, I would have gone for Excelsior. Would you?
Probably. I feel like this is actually the closest game of the week on paper.
Mm-hmm.
But with thinking about it, yeah, I probably would have gone Excelsior because personal experience. I think out of personal experience and from what I've seen recently of Esvalor in the recent games.
Yes.
Excelsior just looks better, is more consistently better, I think.
More consistently better. I think he would have had the advantage tier-wise if it was just a locks. It was just decided up to locks. I think Excelsior would have been more favored. I think they actually said what they were gonna locks. Or maybe,
Did they really?
or maybe it was in the Discord thing. I don't know. But yeah, I would have still said Excelsior would have won based on those. Now let's move on to the game that actually is undecided.
Hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, we actually get to predict 1 out of 4. 25% of these games were actually getting spotlighted by me, Pokeard, and the pick. It's Polo Ariosto versus Let's Rumble, shall we? I think this may be the closest matchup this week.
Nah.
You think? Okay. We're in agreement in saying Hellray wins, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because I was thinking, maybe Bolario still could pick up a couple. Maybe pick off LC if he's very confident in that against Hellray. But everything else, like Hellray just sweeps him. Especially after the game against Wildfire in doubles. I'm fully confident in Hellray winning. And they're playing, actually. They actually did say what they were going to play. Right over here. NUPULC, 3 p.m.
Yeah, see that? NU and PU. Polo is cooked.
Polo is definitely cooked, because Hellray is much better at the lower tiers. What does Pick say?
Yeah, like that's 2 of his best tiers right there. Polo's cooked.
Polo is extremely in trouble. What does the Pick say? Does it believe in Polo taking LC and another one against Hellray?
Well, let's... Oh, it agrees with us.
Yeah, so we're all in agreement.
Okay, so it's not quite 3 for 3 on predicts like we are at the moment, but at least it agrees with us on that.
Yeah, good job for Polo versus...
I actually did pick the pick for the other 3 matches, because, like, the pick has no... knowledge, obviously.
Yeah, but did it still predict correctly?
Would you like to know what? Not for everything.
Oh, not for everything. Well,
okay, for Batty versus Taking Notes, kinda. We randomly picked Taking Notes, kinda.
lol.
Terracotta versus Bacoa, we randomly picked Terracotta.
Yay.
Esvalor versus Excelsior. Oh wow. we randomly picked Excelsior.
Alright, so it's 3 to potentially 4 or potentially no wait, it's 2/3 wins right now. Will it be 3/4 or 2 out of 4?
We're guaranteed to beat the pick.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
Yeah. The vengeance after last week. Yeah. Alright. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please leave a like in this video, leave a comment, subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you won't miss a video once it comes out. And we'll see you next time for round 5 recap and round 6 predictions. We are getting into the nitty-gritty of TLT. Who's going to win? Who's going to lose? Who knows? It will be...
We're approaching the top 8.
The Masters 8. The Elite 8. Alright, dear. Thanks for watching, everyone. This has been Mikoy, signing out.
See you later. Next week.